And we are live. Jay, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, dude? Episode number 12.
12. Oh, man. You know what I did? I can hear the stream, so I hear everything we say repeated to us. Isn't that annoying?
Pause?
Stream problems.
Yeah, right?
Dude, check it out.
I know you were talking about having McDonald's hands right before you sat down.
My wife brought home
shake?
McDonald's. She didn't feel like cooking. I was in a hurry because I was editing a video all day. So she's like, I am in the mood for McDonald's. I'm going to bring home McDonald's. I'm like, all right. And apparently Shamrock Shakes are on the menu.
Nice. Yeah, we have 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
Till St. Patty's Day, so
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, right around that, right? I can't believe it's almost March.
Yeah.
Time? Go ahead.
February is always weird because it's 3 days less.
Yeah,
you know?
and it feels it. You wouldn't think 3 days would make that big a difference.
Yeah.
But it always feels shorter. The time goes slow and fast at the same time. You know, it's like it feels so slow during this quarantine, but it also has been speeding by.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird.
Just closing your eyes and saying it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be fine.
If you're just listening to the show, you should watch the YouTube version. Because that was prime panic Jay right there.
There's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. So, did you get the Pokemon Happy Meal?
No, I didn't. But I saw your tweets saying you were going. I can't. You were deciding on whether you should go or not, right? Was that it?
Well, I was picturing because I like to gamble.
Okay.
Right? And Pokemon cards is gambling. Let's be honest. It's gambling for children. It's getting them addicted early.
It's like loot boxes.
Yeah, it's loot boxes. That's essentially what it is. Yeah. So for me, Pokemon cards is essentially gambling. It's like, can I get that rare card? You know, I love Pokemon, but I'm not huge into the card game, but I like to gamble. Yeah. But I try not to spend a bunch of money. So I'm telling myself, I don't need to go buy 10 Happy Meals. I don't need to go buy 10 Happy Meals. I don't need to go buy 10 Happy Meals. But guess what I did?
Bought 10 Happy Meals.
But at least I bought them across 2 days so that we ate all of the food.
That's good. You didn't just take the Pokemon cards out of the Happy Meal, toss the food out the window while you're driving past.
So I picked my son up from daycare and I was like, do you want to get some French fries and chicken nuggets? He's like, yeah, but no chicken nuggets. It's like he doesn't eat he doesn't eat hamburgers. He doesn't eat chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
He'll eat a plain hot dog and some ketchup.
How old is he?
4.5.
I feel like that's pretty common.
Yeah. So we went and he ate the French fries. And so I bought 5 boxes and I mean, essentially it was 3 cheeseburgers and 2 4-piece nuggets and a bunch of tiny little fries. Yeah. And so between me and my wife and my son, we scarfed those down pretty easy. And then I did the same thing the next day at a different McDonald's. I went to a different one. Because I didn't want to be a different one. Yeah, I didn't want to be a nuisance to the people working. And also the first one was sold out of Pokemon cards. But that's besides the point.
There it is. There it is.
And I opened them and I got all of the starters except for Charmander. So I was a little sad. I got
so you still got to go back.
Bulbasaur, Squirtle. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of past its statute of limitations at this point, but
maybe you can get them off of eBay. What? Explain to me, as somebody who doesn't know anything about this, the first I'd heard about it was when you started tweeting about it. Are these actual legit Pokemon cards that you can use in play?
Yes.
And they're only available through McDonald's?
The 25th anniversary ones, yes.
Okay.
They have a little 25 stamp on them.
Interesting. Do you think they'll be collector's items? Is that what you want?
That's the thing. For me, that's what I'm always looking at. But it's not like I'm going to go buy 10 Happy Meals and I'm going to save these for 20 years and they're going to be worth double what I paid for them. You know, I don't care. It's more like the one Pikachu Holo card is going for $50, and just the prospect of having that is just a fun gambling thing. It's weird because some of those Holos are going for $10 to $15, $20. And wow. I spent $20 on 5 Happy Meals, you know? So like I felt like I got my money's worth there.
Yeah. And you got to eat that delicious food.
Some shitty food. Yeah, it's great.
Did you get a Shamrock Shakes while you're there? I'm just going to be sipping on this thing the whole podcast.
I got a McFlurry, though, which is vastly inferior to a Dairy Queen Blizzard. I'm sorry.
You're 100% right. Also, I hear really sketchy things about the McDonald's McFlurry machines and like how regularly they're cleaned on average.
Oh.
Yeah. Probably the same machine I'm drinking this delicious Shamrock Shake out of.
Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag I can be bought.
There is a price, yes.
Hashtag cheaper than you think.
I know. When you said that you were craving McDonald's, or your wife was craving McDonald's, I was like,
yeah.
Like, whoever craves McDonald's?
There's two reasons. There's two reasons a parent would crave McDonald's. A, you actually are craving like chicken nuggets or a fillet of fish or a burger or something. Or B, you just don't fucking feel like cooking.
Yeah, that's pretty much the And I gotta say, like, I've never been a huge chicken nugget fan, but why do McDonald's chicken nuggets taste like wet cardboard?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. They're definitely like a more processed version of chicken than you're used to, right?
Wendy's chicken nuggets don't taste like that.
I don't think I've ever had a Wendy's chicken nugget.
They're, in my opinion, really good. I mean, I'm a Baconator guy. That's like my favorite kind of burger from a fast food joint right now.
It's well named.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's like 2 quarter pounders, 2 thick pieces of bacon, and just, nothing else. There's no like lettuce, tomato, none of that bullshit. It's just cheese and burger and bacon and bun.
All the good stuff. That's really what you want out of a burger, right?
Oh man.
I had a bourbon burger. That's besides the point. We got video games to talk about. Just sit here and chat with you all night, Jay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. So you made, every week, Jay produces a document. It's got a bunch of facts about the game of the week, which is this week, of course, Goldeneye, like you already read in the title. But also a large, like kind of like a broad section of retro news, right?
The giant mouth.
The giant mouth. And I don't normally like to talk about news that I'm not excited about. So normally I'll add like 1 or 2 stories to it, if I'm really excited about something. I think I almost did as many as you this week.
Yeah, you added like 4 or 5 things.
4 or 5 stories. For me, that's a lot of stories. Usually it's like 1 or 2. So we got a lot of retro news to talk about. Pretty interesting stuff, too. And of course, we want to talk about Goldeneye. I'm really excited to talk about. This is one of my favorite games of my childhood by kind of a long shot. And then we'll see Jay's. Oh, before we get started, though, I had to show you this. Do you know the 8-bit do arcade stick? Anybody who's listening on video, it's a retro-inspired arcade stick made by 8-bit do. And normally it's like got this kind of NES theme with red and black and gray. So I changed out all the buttons and I changed out the joystick today. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was. Have you ever tried these joysticks?
I haven't, but that looks pretty dope. That looks like something that Rob the Robot would be playing with, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I watched a video on that, by the way, and I eventually want to get one for my collection. Probably the deluxe set, but they're expensive to get in really good condition anyways. But just the speed in which it like does actions is like the slowest thing.
Yeah, it's very 1984 toy robot.
Rotate. Yeah.
And there was like a total of like 2 games that ever used it?
Gyromite and Stack Up.
Yeah. I had heard that it was basically a bluff, like to get into
Trojan horse.
Yeah, it was a Trojan horse to get into American homes. Like this isn't an Atari. This is a toy. See, it comes with a toy robot. And then they basically ditched it. So, what should we do first? You want to talk about some news? Some retro good news?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff.
You know what I like about retro news, Jay? It's always good news. It's like we're never sitting here thinking, "Oh my God, they fucked up Cyberpunk." You know what I mean? Like we always have good news,
unless it's about the Polymega. Yeah,
that's true. That's not good news.
So some of this stuff I don't know too terribly a lot about, but I'm sure there's going to be some passionate folks out there. There's a game called Undercover Cops that is getting a North American release. Which this game was in Japan on Famicom, and reports. I didn't actually back up this, so just the website that I was looking at said that those cards can go for like $200.
Oof.
Because it's only available in Japan, and
Wow.
it's kind of like a Final Fight type game. It looks pretty cool.
Is it a Super Famicom or a Famicom game?
I believe Super Famicom.
Okay, it's got to be because it looks too good to be a Famicom game.
Right.
Like it looks 16-bit as hell.
Yeah. But it's getting a release in North America through a few different spots, and Europe too. And the one that I put on here was limited run, but there is another one that is selling through.
Yeah, Retrobit, right, is making it. I think they're the same guys who made the Toplin. They did the Toplin shooter collection for the Sega Genesis that recently released. And I was watching reviews for that Toplin set of Genesis games. People were pretty hype on it. Like the cartridge quality was good, the circuit board quality was good, like the general packaging was high quality. So, like, I don't know. I get the feeling you don't love reprints like this too much, but I'm actually planning on getting this. I think I'm going to get the
collector's edition.
No, I just want the cartridge. Like, I don't collect cardboard like you. I just want the
cartridge.
Well,
the weird thing is there's two editions. There's the normal edition for $54.99, or there's the collector's edition for $69.99.
Oh, I do like that price.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only $15 more, and you get like all this stuff. It's just weird, like that pricing. I feel like it should be like $39.99 and $69.99.
Yeah, but this game looks fun. It looks like it has been translated, right? So it's got yeah, that's good. This is cool.
In North America, you can pre-order at Castlemania Games and Limited Run, and then for Europe, you can pre-order on Limited Run, Strictly Limited, Spell and Sant, and Dragon Box. So there's 4 spots.
And that
in Europe,
if you get the European edition, it comes in a European or Japanese styled cartridge, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. So the U.S. had a different cartridge for the Super Nintendo than Europe or Japan did, and also,
I guess you're right. It does. It looks like that Super Famicom cart.
Yeah, it's a bright orange, clear, see-through kind of thing.
It's
cool. It's not technically a re-release either. I mean, technically, it's the first time it's ever been released in this.
Outside of Japan.
Yeah, which is kind of neat. I'm getting it, so I thought it'd be fun to play it.
I haven't gotten into the re-release stuff yet, or the limited run games yet. I feel like it's this can of worms that if I get into, you start buying these
limited run. I should have added this to the stories this week, but they just did they were on Uplink. They did like not a press conference, but like a seminar on Uplink, and they were talking about how they've really changed the way they're doing business. Now they're only doing pre-orders when they can, as opposed to just literally limited run things where they'll schedule to make 2,500 or something, and that's all they're going to sell. And if it sells out in a minute, anybody else who wants it is screwed. Well, now they're really focusing on how many of these do we need to make. We'll do pre-orders, and then we'll make them afterward.
I mean, that seems like a better business model, but do you think they're going to change their name?
No, I think the name is solid. That's a solid gold name.
It is, but I was going for a shitty joke there.
Yeah. There's so many other companies that have popped up with their same business model afterward that have tried to get as close to limited run as they can, like limited edition or strictly limited and stuff like that. But everybody knows that limited run got the good one.
It's cool stuff that they're doing. I hope that this market continues for sure.
Well, what I really like about it is getting physical releases for games that wouldn't have gotten physical releases.
Right.
Bloodborne Curse of the Moon 2 is coming out this Friday. I'm definitely picking that up because I love the Curse of the Moon series, or I love the Bloodborne series. Unfortunately, I missed out on Curse of the Moon 1, so I think that's going for over $100 on eBay at this point.
Crazy.
I wonder if Switch games are going to come down in price.
I don't know, man.
It seems they're so high already. You know what I mean? Like the games are still on store shelves. You go to eBay and they're selling for double what they are if you go to Best Buy.
For limited run stuff?
Anything.
It's supply and demand.
Limited run stuff particularly though.
Yeah. I just like how it's not reproductions of like old games, because I'm not like, I understand the appeal of the reproduction games, as long as they're like defining that they're reproductions and not trying to pass off as like real versions.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those games are not really affordable for most folks, so I understand that. But
yeah,
I like that Limited Run and other companies are creating these games that aren't reproductions, and they're, like you said, versions of games that never got releases. I prefer that for sure.
What's next?
So, small one, Thunder Cross, which is a shoot 'em up, is getting added to the Switch Arcade archives. It's like a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, spaceship type shooter. Looks pretty cool. Kind of Gradius-y.
Where'd this come from originally?
It was 1988 Konami side-scrolling shoot 'em up. I believe that there was an arcade cabinet, and there's an old Japanese version and new Japanese version that is included in this.
Okay, I've never heard of this game. It looks good though. I mean, the screenshots are good. Like it's got to be like 1988, so it's got to be an arcade game then, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't think
it's too good to be an NES game. It's too early to be a Genesis game.
Yeah,
it's got to be arcade. Looks good though.
And then this I found super interesting. A former Nintendo employee is creating a book of his time at Nintendo. And this is like the golden years of Nintendo, 1981 to 1991.
File really this under about to get sued.
Apparently, because this is on Kickstarter, and it is called Game Master Classified: Inside Stories and Secrets from Nintendo's Histories by Howard Phillips and Matthew Toronto. I think that was just like the person who's kind of helping him with it. But it's on Kickstarter, and it's £14 or $19 for a PDF copy, or a $39 for a hardcover book. And it's already reached like 60,000 in backers or something like that.
Wow.
And I'm tempted, but yeah, like, how does he get away with the legal ramifications with this?
I mean, it's his stories to tell, as long as he's not giving away any trade secrets. I mean, he was, it says in this article that he was employee from 1981 to 1991. So like how relevant can the information that he has be to like modern the modern money-making potential of Nintendo?
I mean, I just think about like folks that, you know, resign or retire from companies like that, and they're probably inundated with documents of like non-compete, non-disclosure type stuff. Like, you can't talk about the work you did here and all this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see like what kind of stuff he can actually cover. But
yeah, it could be just a total fluff piece too.
Right. I mean, the years that it covers span the beginning while all the Atari stuff is going down. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they say on that too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll give it a read if it ever comes out, which it may not.
I mean, let's see. I want to click the link here for Kickstarter. It is currently at $63,755 of the $23,000 goal.
Yeah, that's not what I think is going to keep it from getting published.
Yeah, I know.
I think Nintendo's lawyers.
How much of that is going to legal fees?
Right. A new Kickstarter just for the legal fees is going to start up.
There's a stretch goal
of $13 million.
Let's not let this get fucked by, let's not let me get fucked by Nintendo. Legally.
Yeah. I mean, if he's still got a good relationship with Nintendo, which he may, I don't know. I don't know anything about this dude.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He was in some documentary that I saw recently, but I didn't really get much out of it, to be honest with you.
All right. Next is the real story, and this is within the last 2 weeks, which is like the weirdly perfect timing because we talked about 2 weeks ago the Xbox Goldeneye that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we were kind of speculating on why.
Yeah.
And there's actually a story now, and I read it on Nintendo Life, about why this GoldenEye game actually didn't get created, or it didn't get produced anyways.
So wait a minute. Let me get a timeline. This story came out before the game was leaked?
It says February 9th.
And when did GoldenEye for Xbox actually get leaked to the public?
I think it was a couple of days after it got leaked.
Wow, that's bizarre. What a coincidence.
Yeah, and just the fact that we're covering this game today, I just thought that it was too perfect. So I read through this whole thing, and I can kind of give you the summary of why. In summation, bullet points, cliff notes, there was a singular person who worked at Nintendo who said no.
High up in the company, right?
Yeah. And the story was basically the development team, which was 8 people working on this game, were working under the guise that everything was fine. You know, Microsoft's cool with it. Activision, all the companies that own rights are cool with it. All this, that, and the other. And then they just never really got the final sign-off say-so from Nintendo this whole time. They're like doing the development for this game.
Yeah.
And
the game is
eventually
pretty much done.
Yeah. And eventually, because they didn't want, the team was like waiting on stuff, but they didn't want to, twiddle their thumbs. So they were working on the game in the background while their legal side was trying to work it out. And Nintendo basically got it. And the one person essentially said, well, we can't let a Nintendo game get released on Xbox.
Yeah.
And that was that.
That was the end of that.
Done.
Until 2 weeks ago when it got published on the internet.
Which I think there's a whole bunch of finger pointing on like how it got leaked and all that stuff going on right now.
Well, I hope they never catch the saint who did it, frankly. I hope that man gets away clean.
Could be. I mean, we're talking about the power that Nintendo has legally, and they protect their IPs. That's what they do.
They sure do. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, the world is a better place now that version of the game has been released. We'll talk more about GoldenEye, but I mean, good Lord, that is the definitive version of that game to play now.
Yeah.
And it's free. And you can play it on an actual Xbox. You can play it in an emulator on a PC. You could do, you can
play it on Xbox, assuming you have a modded Xbox, correct?
Right. Assuming you're one of the cool kids.
I am not.
I've never
have been.
I've never have been. I don't even know where they hang out.
It's like, hey guys, you got an Xbox over there that plays burn discs? Can I come watch?
I think it'd be worth modding an Xbox 360 just to get this running on it.
Wow, that's a commitment.
I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time, to be honest with you.
You could probably buy one for cheaper. I mean, they're probably still $100, $150 to get one modded, I would think.
Yeah, but I'd rather mod it myself, I think.
Yeah.
How hard can it be, right?
Next time you see Briar, he's not going to have his beard.
Yeah, or fingertips. I've burned away my fingerprints like a career criminal.
Wow. They won't be able to catch him. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the next one? You seemed excited about it.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Is somebody added ray tracing to Mario 64? And like, it looks awesome.
It looks dope. It's like, you know how Minecraft came out with ray tracing? It's basically that.
Yeah. It looks phenomenal. Like, you can't believe it. I'll try to remember to put a link in the YouTube notes for this. But if you just Google, I bought a $1,500 GPU to play Super Mario 64 with RTX. I know, it's not the most efficient title.
The channel is Dario, Dario.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Dario, like Mario with a D.
Dario.
It looks outstanding. It's running in full widescreen mode, not just 16:9, but this looks like full widescreen, right? Like a stretch, like 21:9 monitor or something like that. So it looks super cinematic. It's high res, and it has ray trace lighting that looks phenomenal. Like there's one scene,
dope.
The water looks cool. There's like a fence, and you can see the shadows getting cast on a wall by the fence. and they get longer as it goes down the wall. Like, it looks so good.
It's really it takes excellent. The original textures. You know, the textures are still pretty low res.
Yeah.
But because of the ray tracing and the ability to add lighting and shadows and stuff like that, it adds this level of depth that probably would have been a lot easier to play the game, because you can tell where the hell stuff is a lot easier, you know, platforming wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just watching through this right now, and it's just so good.
Yeah. I hope this is out there somewhere that I can download it, because I'd really like to play it. You know, well, I just bought the 3D Mario collection, where all Nintendo did was just put Super Mario 64 on a Switch cartridge. They didn't even make it widescreen, you know?
They up-resed it to what, 480?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's nice that they did anything, I guess, but they did the bare minimum. Like, when you look at this is breathing new life into that game.
So this is actually a part of the it's a mod for the community-made Super Mario 64 PC port.
Oh, okay.
So I imagine you can.
Good.
Find.
So I've got to get the PC port, and then I got to get the mod for it.
Yeah, there's probably a whole community of folks modding this game and whatnot. So there's probably multiple different. You know, I'm not really in the scene, and anybody who's out there that knows anything about this, please educate us.
Yeah.
On you know, Mario 64 stuff and the things that we can do, because this is just fantastic. I don't have an RTX card, so I can't really run this like this yet.
And you can't have one, frankly.
I know, right? It's only for the robots that can afford to buy them.
The robots have decided they're keeping this shit to themselves.
Yeah, it's not actually scalpers, by the way. It's Skynet. They're buying up all of the 3080s and 3090s, and they're putting together, like, you know, the end of humanity. Seems like something that could happen in 2021, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is stunning. Anybody who's listening to the show, go check this out. It really does look stunning. Like, you can't believe how good Mario 64 can look. All right, what's next?
A lot of people saw this on the Nintendo Direct, but Zelda Skyward Sword is coming to Switch.
Just what you were hoping for out of a Zelda announcement on the Nintendo Direct, right?
No Breath of the Wild 2. None of it.
Everybody was like, yes!
Mm-hmm. I actually didn't ever play the original one, and I've heard good things, so I'm actually kind of interested.
Those people who told you good things about this game are not looking out for you. They're not people you should be trusting. They do not have your best interests at heart.
I wasn't a fan. Like, I didn't like the motion controls of the Zelda games for the Wii. Like, I hated them.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a way to do it on this to not have to flail my hands around like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to use the stick instead. So if you want to swipe to the right, you just move the stick to the right. If you want to swipe down, you move it down. I think it's probably going to be an improvement. I hope they do the same thing they did with Wind Waker when they released Wind Waker for the Wii U. They actually like cleaned up some of the parts that really were a problem for that game. Like they sped up the boat, they sped along some of the really slow moving stuff in Wind Waker. If they can do that for this game, because the motion controls are one thing, but my problem with this game was that like there's this intro sequence of this tutorial that lasts for, I don't know, it feels like you could go to high school and come back graduated before you ever get through this tutorial. It's like literal hours and hours, and it's just so boring to get through. It was really a damn shame. So if they could speed up that stuff and kind of, I don't know, just trim out that awful tutorial stuff.
Wonder if you could like skip past that if you know what you're doing, kind of thing.
Oh, maybe that'd be good. I mean, who doesn't know what they're doing? It's Zelda, you know. Like Nintendo hit this weird point where they really I felt as a gamer that they were no longer making games for me. They were making games for brand new players, you know.
Yeah.
And that's it. And like every game they put out, it felt like it was like a Fisher Price your first game kind of thing, right? It's like everything had to be explained to the point of exhaustion. And I felt like this, and actually, I think, what was the other one that came out around this time?
Twilight Princess?
Twilight Princess. Both suffered from that.
Yeah, I didn't play either of them. Both of those games were part of the Zelda games where, same with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, where I put a few hours into it and then I just kind of stopped. Like I would get lost. And the same thing happened with Breath of the Wild for me, actually. I got to a point where I got turned around and lost and kind of gave up.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't put a lot of time into Breath of the Wild?
No, my wife did.
Yeah.
And my wife's not like a gamer, so I don't know. Like I'm not into the cooking stuff and the crafting and all that kind of stuff. So I forced myself to sit down and play Link to the Past for the first time, when we started this podcast.
That's right.
And it was frustrating, but I enjoyed the achievement of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like I want to love Zelda so bad. It's just not my kind of game, just at its core. And I hate that it's like that. But this one, I mean, it's coming out in HD, which is nice. So I'll probably check it out. If I don't like it, I can trade it away, kind of thing.
Yeah, right. All that being said, I'm definitely buying this. It's like, of course I'm buying it. I'm pissed that I missed out on the. Did you see they made Joy-Cons to go with it? One was like kind of. Apparently, those were sold out before I even knew they were on the market. So.
Oh, of course, yeah. You'll be able to buy them on eBay though for $300. So
that's not happening. I don't even use Joy-Con. Like I never use them. They're too small for my hands.
I was picturing what if they had the motion controls on the Joy-Con forced, so you're like holding the Switch. You're like, hold on, you're holding the whole damn thing. Damn it! You're in an airport. Wait, no, you're not.
Was there ever like a motion control game that you actually liked?
Wii Sports.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah,
Punch Out.
That was the good one. I never played Punch Out for Wii.
Punch Out. I mean, it's like who doesn't like trying to punch shit? You know.
Yeah, I liked. I played Resident Evil 4 on the Wii with the Wiimote, and you aim by aiming it. That was pretty fun.
Which game?
Resident Evil 4.
I mean, it seemed like the like aiming mechanics, because they made like those plastic insert gun things that you could buy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I ever played any shooting games.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's Nintendo, so how extreme are the shooting games other than Resident Evil?
I mean, that's true. I mean,
they had Call of Duty,
Splatoon. Yeah, that's right. Call of Duty used to be on Wii U.
They had like World at War on Wii and stuff.
Yeah. God, that's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know if they had the like sight shooting stuff.
I don't know.
So
tell me about something that you found in a field.
So I don't think I've ever seen these in real life, but I thought this story was interesting. A Sega arcade cabinet, which I believe, how many did they say was made? A few thousand? I'm trying to exact 200 were made in the entire world. And it's this like 360. It looks like something straight out of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like a circular, cylindrical.
Does it move?
Or spherical. It like rotates 360 degrees inside, so you can like climb in this little cockpit arcade cabinet, and while you're playing the game, I don't think it can go up and down, but it can go side to side 360.
Man, this thing is wild.
Yeah, it's super expensive to make and whatnot, but it was found out in the middle of a field in the UK. Just randomly out in a field, you know, no big deal.
The thing weighs 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. Speculation was that it was left in some kind of storage shed or something on a farm, and then the shed got removed, but the cabinet just stayed there. So the person who found it's like, well, it's mine now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring a van to try to take it home, and he's like, I'll try to, you know.
Dude, this thing is wild. It is totally fucked though. It is trashed.
Yeah. Did you see the picture of the like in good condition one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool looking. It looks like something out of like Tron.
Yeah.
And there's like a side cabinet that says attendant on it that's got a screen and like this like siren looking light that goes on the top of it, like a red light that looks like the top
Vomit is in the cabin. Vomit is in the cabin. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
This thing is wicked cool. It's called the R360, and it looks like it like spins inside. It's like this big circular frame, and then a cabin that you sit in with a video screen in it, and it looks like it just rotates and moves inside of it. Looks fucking dope.
Yeah. Like, I've never seen one of those before. And apparently they're really expensive too.
Yeah, I bet.
So
it looks really expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks expensive, except for the one that's like in the field.
Yeah, not so much that one.
That looks like the end of the Sonic movie. Just like, Dr. Robotnik just gave up.
Yeah.
It looks like something Dr. Robotnik would use as a vehicle.
Yeah, totally.
I will get you, Sonic.
Man, it's made out of like heavy steel too. You can see the way it's rusting. It's just like, this is like a contraption. This is a thing. That's awesome.
Part of somebody's sex dungeon.
I hope whoever found it sells it to somebody who's going to restore it, Yeah, and get it working again. I hope that's the end story of that. I hope in 3 years we're looking at pictures of it being restored.
There's a documentary somewhere.
Oh yeah, that'd be a fun documentary to watch. You ever watch those YouTube videos? People restore old stuff.
Yes,
like Titsy Tube or Sicey Tube or whatever.
There's a person who will take old busted up Game Boys.
Oh yeah,
and completely restore them. Like, he uses like chemical baths to get rid of all the yellowing. And there's some of those old Game Boys, the screen just completely like explodes internally.
Yeah.
And they like take it off. They put like a new fresh screen on.
Yeah.
They take like, toothbrush to all the little cracks and crevices. And
it's really satisfying to watch.
Insane. Yeah. God, we are nerds.
Yeah. Super nerds. I mean, I watch another guy who goes out and he finds old cars that are basically broken down. He buys them sight unseen on the internet. He goes out there with a toolbox and he says, I'm going to fix this and drive it home 500 miles today. Like, he does it. It's pretty good.
I kind of wish that I was that handy, but I'm definitely not.
Yeah. I put new buttons in my arcade stick today.
I once installed a new thermostat reader, but fucked up the wiring and had to call an electrician out.
Yeah. I got lucky. I didn't have to call an electrician, but it was a process.
Yeah. The only thing that I could say of note that I've done restoration wise is I refurbed an old SP, but it really isn't difficult. Like, because you don't have to solder or anything. You just got to be careful.
Did you put a new screen in it?
Ribbon cables. Screen cover. So it's got like a plastic screen cover that goes on the actual LCD. So this isn't this plastic isn't the actual screen. That's just the cover.
Yeah.
So yeah, most restoration kits for refurb kits come with like a little plastic thing that you can just put on the screen.
Interesting.
Legend of Mana coming to the Switch, which you as a PlayStation gamer might be interested in.
What is this? Was this the one that never came to the US?
No,
that was Trials of Mana.
Yeah, this was on PS1.
I don't think I was paying attention to this when it came out. Is this the third one in the series?
That I don't know. Probably. I was wondering because there's Secret of Mana, Legend of Mana, and what was the other one?
It's the fourth game in the series. Secret, Legend, Trials, and then this is Legend. Secret, Trials, Secret, what? I don't know.
Secret of Mana for the Super Nintendo. You said Legend of Mana for PS1.
No, that's the fourth one. There's something between Secret and Trials. Trials never came to the US, I think. This game looks nice though. It's got nice hand-drawn art, but it's obviously PlayStation, so
there's Heroes of Mana for the DS.
No, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to this series.
It looks cool though.
Yeah, it looks nice. I might pick it up. Is it gonna be like limited run, or is it just gonna come out like to actual stores that I can buy it?
I think it's just on the Switch. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it's getting a physical release.
So I think then all four of the Mana games are now on the Switch because they made like the Super Nintendo one come out. Yeah, I think they're all there now.
Well, yeah, there's the Trials of Mana, Collection of Mana. And then
what's in the collection of mana? Because I think that's
mana. Yeah, I'm looking. Final Fantasy Adventure Mystic Quest. Final Fantasy Adventure / Mystic Quest and Secret of Mana. And then
that's a Game Boy game. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so we are clearly experts on this game series.
I didn't realize that Final Fantasy Adventure was connected to this at all.
I think they renamed it last minute to Final Fantasy to try and make it sell better, but it was originally going to be part of this series.
Oh.
I think that's the story. That's my uninformed opinion. I think that's what happened. Secondhand knowledge, though.
Yeah, there's other Final Fantasy games for the Game Boy as well. I'm trying to remember exactly all of them because I have most of them. There is Final Fantasy Legend 2 and 3 and 1, and then Final Fantasy Adventure. I thought those were all connected somehow. Apparently they're not.
No.
Just to show how much I know.
So the Capcom Arcade Stadium release, this is something we talked about several months ago now. This is like that front end, basically, that's free that you can download on the Switch, but then once you're in it, there's in-app purchases for the actual games. And the games come in like these packs. So I think there's 3 packs, like the adventure pack or the fighting pack and the shooter pack or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the packs were called, but it's relatively expensive. It's like $40 to get them all. And I got to be honest with you, as soon as they announced it during the Nintendo Direct, actually, did they announce it during the Nintendo Direct or right after? I went and downloaded it, and I was like really confused. Like, how do you actually download anything for this? Because every link in the app on the Switch would bring me to the same game. I think it was like 1941, the shooter, the airplane shooter. So like I couldn't purchase anything. So I kind of put it down. I was kind of frustrated. I was like, I can't buy anything in here. Like, it's not working.
Take my money.
I did finally, I went outside of the app through the Nintendo Store on the Switch, and I was able to, by searching for Capcom Arcade Stadium, to find the $40 all-inclusive pack that has all the games. But by that time, I had a bad taste in my mouth, Jay, and I said, fuck it, I'm not giving you my money. I own all these games anyway.
Yeah, you should be able to buy them from inside. If you buy the skeleton, or if you download the skeleton, you should be able to buy them from in that, I would think.
Yeah, it doesn't let you. It brings you to the Nintendo eShop, and then every link that I clicked would bring me to 1941 that you could buy that one game. I was like, this isn't working.
I mean, if they're trying to make it like an arcade, you should be able to walk up to the arcade cabinet and be like, play, and then it's like, would you like to buy this pack? And then you can buy it. But
I don't know. I think this is a weird business model for this thing. I don't really like it. It seems a little bit skeezy and it's trying to hide how much this is actually going to cost, as opposed to just being upfront. Like, here's a bunch of games. It costs $40.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm probably going to end up spending the $40 because I like to buy. I like to support when these companies put a little bit of effort into bringing these old games out, and adding things 16:9 or saving, modern features. But this is just a rough experience. So I don't know. I'll probably end up buying it and playing a little bit of it, and I'll talk about it later. But
I mean, the arcade cabinets look a little bit like if you took Sega Saturn 3D and made it smoother, that's what these cabinets look like. Like really basic shapes, shading, textures.
Yeah.
Somebody's 3D art class, this is their final project kind of thing. Kind of what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. If you look at 1943, they have right on the front of the webpage for it. It even has a bubble shaped screen like a CRT would, which I think is a nice touch. I don't know. I'm never a huge fan of having all the surrounds around the game. If there's going to be empty space, I'd rather have it just be black than having all crazy ass art around it. But
they're trying to emulate the feeling of being in the arcade.
Yeah.
An interesting idea, but Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I just don't like the business model for it. I'd rather. I don't know. I'll probably buy it anyway because I want to check it out. You know, but whatever.
Briar speaking with his wallet.
Yeah. Something I'm definitely gonna buy, but I think that is pretty controversial, like among the Ghosts and Goblins community, is Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. You seen this game?
I haven't.
This is like basically a remake of Ghosts and Goblins. Actually, I don't know if it's so much as a remake as it is a sequel or a spiritual sequel, because I think the levels are actually different in this game than they were in the Ghosts and Goblins for the arcade or the Genesis or Super Ghosts and Goblins on the Super Nintendo. I think this is like a brand new game, and it's definitely a Ghosts and Goblins game, but it's done in this cool kind of 2D, almost like paper cutout art. Like, to see it in motion, I think is pretty neat. It's got like a really distinct look for it, but I think it actually is somewhat divisive among, the people who just want a new Ghosts and Goblins game. Don't necessarily love the way this looks. But earlier reviews for it have been pretty positive. It's just as hard as the old ones used to be. But I don't know. I'm definitely gonna pick this one up.
Yeah, I'm watching the video. It kind of the style looks like, a lot of those newer games, especially on the PC, that are kind of physics based, where they're like floppy physics kind of characters. That's kind of what it looks like, but it's a 2D platformer, so it's not like it's physics based, but just the way that he moves has kind of that like Woody from Toy Story kind of floppiness to it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for the hardcore, if there's drama around it, how many times does a game have to be remade? I don't know if this one's been remade very many times, or been available on a bunch of different platforms before you just want a new game, so
yeah, good point.
I would imagine that folks would be happy with it, maybe, if it's a new game. I don't know. I would be.
I just want to see it. Like, I'm drawn to the way it looks, and I love I've always liked Ghosts and Goblins. It was one of the first games I bought on the Genesis way back in the day, and I've always loved these games. They're hard as nails, but they're just so charming and fun.
Is it one of those ones where you get hit and like all of your clothes fall off, and then if you get hit again, you die?
Yeah. That's it.
I always thought that was a weird, like, I'm naked and I'm dead.
Yeah. It is weird. You're right. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks cool, so I'm gonna pick this one up. It's only like $29.99. I don't know if there's a physical release for it though.
Limited run? No, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
it may be. I hope not. I hope this gets like a regular release. Speaking of old ass games, Blizzard Arcade Collection is out now. Have you seen this one?
I haven't.
All right, so this one is this was announced at BlizzCon, and to me it was the most exciting thing at BlizzCon. Although Diablo 2 we should probably talk about as well. This is coming out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC, and it's a collection of 3 retro games: The Lost Vikings, Blackthorn, and Rock and Roll Racing. I believe all 3 of them were Super Nintendo games back in the day. These have been updated to take advantage of 16:9. They have save states, and I think what's notable actually is that Rock and Roll Racing actually includes the original soundtrack that was in that game, which was licensed music. It was like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, but chiptunes, which is awesome. It's a really fantastic soundtrack. It's a really fun game. I think it's a really underrated game. It's a nice collection. I've never played Blackthorn, but I've always wanted to. I've always been Blackthorn curious, I guess.
It's on my list of games to buy, but it runs a little hot, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember exactly how much.
And then Lost Vikings is kind of like
$40.
It's like platformer puzzle game kind of thing. But again, I think they've done a nice job here updating these games, and the fact that they've got the original soundtrack in Rock and Roll Racing. Frankly, I never would have guessed.
I mean, it just looks like they ported the SNES versions to this.
Well, yeah, but they have 16:9 modes. They have save states.
Okay. I didn't even realize that these were Blizzard games, to be honest. I own Lost Vikings 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't own the other ones.
Yeah, this was Blizzard before Warcraft, right? So it's like they were just another studio out there, kind of not notably different about anything. And then Warcraft hit, and they became Diablo 2 hit, really, right? I think that's the other thing that was announced at BlizzCon was Diablo 2, the remake.
The remaster, yeah.
Yeah, who actually Vicarious Visions is making that. The people who were previously a helper studio for Bungie with Destiny 2.
Right. Yep. We'll see if they actually made an impact on the game.
I hope so. I mean, Diablo 2 is a well-loved game. I mean, it's arguably there wouldn't be a Destiny without Diablo 2. You know, like it created a genre, the looter genre.
When is that remake coming out?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to find it.
I mean, Vicarious Visions did an incredible job with Tony Hawk Remastered, so
they did.
Hopes are that Diablo 2 will be good. So I was just looking at the cover art for Rock and Roll Racing because I was like, I don't own this game either, and they're both, Rock and Roll Racing and Blackthorn are both about $40 for a cart.
Yeah.
But Rock and Roll Racing box says Interplay. Doesn't say Blizzard on it at all. So does Blizzard own Interplay now? Is that how that works? Yeah, Blackthorn also says Interplay.
Did Blizzard used to be Interplay?
Good question. Maybe Blizzard bought Interplay or bought the right. Yeah, Lost Vikings also says Interplay. How Interplay founder helped jumpstart Blizzard.
All right. Next, we have...
You know the story, let us know, because I'm curious.
Did you see this press release from Analog?
I just did, because you put it on there. It was from, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, so this is something that we've talked about quite a bit on the podcast. Analog, the company that makes the Super NT, the Mega SG, like these FPGA-based retro consoles, right? These guys, they made the Pocket, or they're making the Pocket, the one that Frodo can't have. So these guys put out a press release that I thought was pretty interesting because they take a lot of flack, right? It's like they make these awesome products, but they're never available. If you want like a Super NT right now, something that cost $180 or $190 when Analog released it a couple of years ago, if you want one of these now to play your Super Nintendo games on an HD TV, it's going to cost you like $400 or $500 on eBay. It's like, why isn't Analog making these things? Why won't they just release them so we can pay, regular retail prices? So they talk about that. They talk about terminology, which I think is important, like what's the difference between a limited edition and limited quantities? Does out of stock mean they're never going to make it again, or what? So that is all very interesting. I encourage anybody who's like waiting for one of their products to give this a read. But they also talk about how, they've got a few products that are coming out. The Turbo Duo, which is upcoming. The Pocket, which they say you're going to be able to put more orders in for the Pocket. And they're adding bot protection, scalper protection to their website, which probably won't work. Let's be honest. Like, when you got 1 million people trying to break down the security of one website, normally they're going to get through. But it's at least nice to see Analog speaking to this stuff, because Analog as a company, I feel like they shut their trap so much that there's animosity that builds up against them.
Yeah. A lot of people are upset at the companies for the, people that are scalping and whatnot. And I mean, like, bot protection is important and all that stuff, because, when folks like Walmart they're like, oh, we're going to have pre-orders available for the PS5, and they put them up and they're gone in literally 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a bit frustrating. And I do put a lot of the fault on the platforms for that kind of thing. So good on Analog for trying to take a step and prevent that stuff for sure. Yeah. They started with having the 2 pre-order maximum for the Pocket, but there's ways to get around that if you're motivated enough.
Yeah.
So, and we'll see if they announce soon if they're going to reopen pre-orders, because they said they would originally.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that even with what they said here, I think they really need to be more open about is like, when our Pocket pre-orders going back up, when are you going to be able to actually like get this stuff? Like, I think the Super NT is almost a better example than the Pocket, is because the Super NT is something that has been for sale. Obviously, Analog would like to make more, but they haven't made them in a very long time. They're going for $500 on eBay. So, like, just a quick note from Analog saying, hey, we're working on these things. We hope to have them late this year. Like, I think that would go a long way toward people who are hoping to get a Super NT. And I think it would, communication and that kind of stuff, just, it helps consumers kind of know where they stand with a company and not feel like they're going to waste their money,
Right. Yep.
Nobody 100%. Wants to buy a Super NT for $500.
It's funny because I bought mine for less than $100 because they were still available on Analog.
Mm-hmm.
And during my eBay scouring, I saw somebody sell a used one for like $90.
Wow.
And I was like, sold.
That dude's kicking himself in the ass right now.
And yeah, like a year later, they're going for $500-$600. So yeah. I made out like a bandit on that one.
I mean,
I wanted to. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to circle back on the Blizzard thing.
Oh, okay.
So I found out real quick. I went to some Wikipedias for the 3 games, and 2 of them were not developed by Blizzard.
Okay.
They were developed. Rock and Roll Racing and Lost Vikings were developed by Silicon and Synapse.
That's who. That was Blizzard before Blizzard.
Is it?
Yeah. Silicon and Synapse were the same people that founded Blizzard, or at least some of them.
There you go.
I know that one.
I guess okay. So those 2 games were developed by, it must have been like a year thing whenever the games were released.
Yeah.
Because it says they were published by Interplay, I assume for the SNES, but then Blizzard for the GBA versions.
Okay, that must have been different years.
There are GBA versions of Rock and Roll Racing and Lost Vikings, and then Blackthorn says it was developed by Blizzard.
Okay.
So it's interesting how that is all connected.
Yeah, Silicon and Synapse was their name before they were Blizzard, I believe.
Got it.
I'm almost sure about that one, though.
Yeah, it looks like you're right.
And then Interplay was the publisher.
In 1994, yeah, so they developed the games in 93, and then 94 they became Chaos Studios, and then eventually Blizzard.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's it. That's the news. That's everything you needed to know for the last 2 weeks. You're welcome.
There was one more that you put on there.
Oh, wait. There's one more thing you need to know. So a beta of Dinosaur Planet has been released. This is the Nintendo 64 version of a game that literally later became Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube. So this was being developed by Rare. They showed this to Nintendo. Miyamoto said this would make a good Star Fox game. So they pulled it back and started kind of redoing it and made it a GameCube game called Star Fox Adventures. It's really cool. It's totally playable, too, on a Nintendo 64 if you have a flash cartridge. You can just download it and play it. I was actually watching a stream from My Life in Gaming on Sunday night, and I'll be honest with you, I thought it looked pretty impressive for a Nintendo 64 game,
Nice. Yeah, I mean, these pictures look pretty cool. I had no idea that was the story behind this game.
Me neither. Yeah. The version that got released here, or not released, I think that's probably not the right word for that. It was, I think, a private collector had it, and then like a coalition of people put money up to buy it and then release it.
I love how it's just on a Memorex CDR.
Yeah, totally. You know, you got to be careful. The CDRs are going fast. The BitRot is happening to rewritable discs and writable discs a lot faster. So, like, stuff like this is probably going to go faster than even like games that were actually burnt to a disc properly.
Yeah, get it backed up online.
Yeah, but this is a neat little thing. Star Fox is actually in this version of the game. I guess the original character was supposed to be like a wolf character as opposed to a Star Fox. But the whole beginning of the game is different than what actually came out with Star Fox Adventures. I don't know, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff. I like when stuff like this comes out.
Yeah. learning about the history of stuff. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I think that's it.
Yeah. Looks like it. Lots of things, man. Retro is hot.
Yeah. You know what I like to see is that companies are doing a better job. I remember like around the PlayStation 2 era, retro was hot then, but companies were just throwing shit out. Like they come out like here is a collection of Genesis games to play on your PlayStation 2, but they run in interlaced mode. They have 30 seconds of input lag. So they look like snot. They feel like snot. And it's going to ruin all your memories of what you thought was awesome when you were a kid. Like I feel like companies are much more respectful of it now. They're doing a better job of porting it and running emulators. It doesn't hurt that the consoles we have are much more powerful and can do it better as well.
The remasters and stuff coming out gives me hope to a lot of games from the past that I'd love to see. Cough, Golden Sun, cough. I mean, having remastered versions of this stuff is pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like, it's literally like, there's no end to the well that they can tap.
Right, exactly.
You know?
But there's also the argument of like, well, how much of this backlog is Nintendo going to tap into as opposed to making new IPs?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're only one company. I feel like Nintendo, of all companies, gets the short end of the stick from their fans in that, like, how many games can one company make? You know, it's like they can only make these things so fucking fast.
Yeah.
So, like, porting stuff from the Wii and Wii U, which is a relatively easy thing to do, I think is a no-brainer for Nintendo.
Goldeneye.
Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun.
So I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
I didn't actually play Goldeneye this week.
Yeah, but you played it. You know the game.
I mean, I've played it a lot in the past.
I had to buy it. I had to buy a new copy of the game.
Stretch mouth. You like the?
Yeah, that is iconic.
Stretch mouth. So like, I can't not see it now. Every time I look at this box, that's a long mouth.
For anybody who's listening, on the cover of Goldeneye with Pierce Brosnan, he's holding his gun up so he can aim down the sight, his right eye. And the way his finger, the crease between his two fingers line up with his mouth, make it look like his mouth on the right side of his face goes out like an extra 6 inches. It's really weird looking. Like, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you've never seen it, like, it just looks like a normal photo of Pierce Brosnan looking awesome and cool. But once you've seen it, it looks derp.
You go look on our Twitter at the RetroSlot on Twitter. You can see I posted a picture of the 3 different versions, and the actual one of like, it's like the game box, and then the like 8, the black and white sketch of the long mouth, and then somebody took Photoshop smear onto a picture of Pierce Brosnan and like stretched out his actual mouth. It's great.
It's too bad on the actual cartridge itself, it's just a normal picture of Pierce Brosnan holding like the gun up sideways. So it's too bad. I actually had to buy this. I didn't have this, which sort of surprised me. Like, how did I not pick up a copy of Goldeneye? This was literally one of my favorite games. It was probably my favorite game for the Nintendo 64 when the Nintendo 64 was modern. Because in context, at the time, right, console first-person shooters weren't a thing.
Right.
There weren't any. There was Turok 64, right? And that was okay, but it was, nothing special. But mostly it was the PC domain was that of shooters, Doom and the many Doom clones at the time.
Well, and Doom came out for 64 too. I don't know what year.
I think it must have come out later.
But it was basically just the PC Doom,
Yeah. This was so different though, because not only was it an amazing first-person shooter, but it was also an amazing licensed game, like a movie license, which had historically been just a cesspool of shit, right? Like it kind of hit on a few different notes to be so awesome. And then it also was an outstanding like couch multiplayer game.
Which, fun fact, was the multiplayer wasn't actually, it almost wasn't in the game.
Right. Yeah, it was a last-minute addition to the game. But really, I think why the game is so iconic is I think people would remember this game for having played through the campaign, because I think the campaign is good and the controls are good considering the N64 controller, right? It's like there's only so much they could do with that. It's really hard to go back to, Jay. It's super hard. Like earlier when we were talking about GoldenEye, like getting the Xbox 360 remake of GoldenEye leaked out a couple of weeks ago. So you can now play that with an emulator on a PC. And along with that, it has like modern sensibilities for controlling the game with aim with your right stick, move your character with your left stick, right? Well, the Nintendo 64 didn't have those options. And honestly, like none of the options that it has, I've tried them all, feel right. You know, they just don't feel good. And it's too bad because the game itself, it feels so satisfying firing that silenced PP7. That first level where you're infiltrating the dam is still, I think, a super fun level. It's like you start off with a PP7, you got to sneak around a little bit, kind of pew pew. You know, it's got a great sound effect to firing that thing. Even now, you can find a sniper rifle, and it's your first interaction with a sniper rifle, maybe ever. You know, like in video games history, it may be your first interaction with a sniper rifle. This game it's a goddamn shame that the N64 had such a shitty controller. Because if this game had modern controls to it, I mean, it's already a classic. I think it would be even more so.
Yeah. We didn't realize back then how awful it was. It was like ignorance is bliss kind of scenario.
Well, it wasn't awful. It was as good as it got at the time.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't until the release of the PlayStation dual stick controller that anybody did any kind of dual stick controls, and it wasn't really until Halo came out with the Xbox that we got like what became the modern layout for dual stick shooter controls, which was years later. What, 7 years later, 6 years later? So at the time, this was state of the art, and the controls were as good as it got on a console. It was amazing. I still think this game is outstanding. Like the level layouts are all really fun. I like what they do with the difficulty settings, where they actually add objectives to the mission to enhance the difficulty. I just think the feel of shooting guns in this game feels good, right? It's like they sound right, they look right, they feel right. It's got a shit ton of auto aim to it. Like it's a ridiculous amount of auto aim. Like,
I do remember, the way that it used to stick to people pretty hard.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's got the multiplayer component where, you know, I had a PC at the time, and I was playing Doom at the time. But even with that experience under my belt, this was still so good because it offered a chance for my friends who didn't have a PC to play a first-person shooter, for us all to be sitting on a couch together, shooting each other, hitting each other in the shoulder when we lost. You know, it's just, I would say a truly magnificent experience for anybody who was of that age who had a chance to experience it. Like it was as revolutionary, I think, as like a Mario game at the time. It has not held up like a Mario game, unfortunately. But at the time, it's the third best-selling game for the console.
Right. Yeah. It sold $250 million, and it cost $2 million to make.
That's a good return.
I didn't put this in the notes, but the movie, I believe, was $350 million, but cost like $100 and some odd billion to make. Mm-hmm. So ROI on this was way higher.
Yeah. That was the other thing about this, is that was the first time we had Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. And while Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies are not really well regarded, Goldeneye was a good movie, and it was a new Bond, a new style of Bond movie. It was a good movie, and we got the game to go with it, which really did kind of mirror the movie. It was an amazing time.
This game was supposed to have all 4 Bonds in it originally.
Yeah, that's too bad. That would have been cool.
The story goes, one of the people kind of higher up in the company was like, yeah, that's not going to work. Or it was the license holders. They're like, yeah, we can't give you the rights to all 4. And I think they basically made them choose. But what the developers did, they had like an epic death match to 100 kills, which took apparently like 4 or 5 hours. And the person who won was the Pierce Brosnan person, and they won by a couple of kills.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it was even in question because Pierce Brosnan was Bond in Goldeneye.
Right.
Like, so why would you have Roger Moore? You know what I'm saying? It's like that would be silly. Like, I could see maybe trying to get what's his name? Who was the first Bond? What's his name? Why can't I think of it?
Oh my God, Sean Connery?
Yeah, Sean Connery.
No,
I can't believe I forgot his name. But like, honestly, thank God they didn't have him in because that's a troublesome history at the least.
I mean, who knows how real this story was, but it seemed legitimate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rare things you didn't know about Goldeneye. They also invented McDonald's. You know, like just like random shit they make up.
I didn't know that. Do they also make the Shamrock Shake, which is delicious?
Yeah, that was Pierce Brosnan's favorite. Yeah.
I love me some Goldeneye, man. In case that doesn't show, it's a tragic history that it's saddled to the worst controller of all time. But thank God the Xbox arcade version has been released to the public.
Now I want to play that one.
You should.
Yeah. So a couple of notes for this. It was originally going to be a side-scrolling game, 2D shooter for the SNES, like the original plan for it.
Wow.
So, and then they were like, let's do 3D.
Man, I'd love to see a beta version of that. Like, did they ever start development on a 2D shooter, or was that just in the paper phase?
I don't think so. And the team that was working on it, they were mostly new developers. Like, they didn't know what they didn't know kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So the quote was, the world was their oyster. Like, they just were like, oh, why don't we do this? Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Let's also do that. So it's like, you know, probably a lot of the issues and development stuff that they came up to deal with, they didn't really realize how difficult it was going to be. So they just wanted to make the game that they wanted to make, and it turned out really well.
Yeah,
obviously
they killed it.
One of the original ideas was to have the rumble pack be the reload. So you would take the rumble pack out of the controller, put it back in, and it would reload your gun. And
that's such a badass idea. But imagine how many broken like things it would have created.
How fast you had to try to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's stuck.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. I just broke my controller, or I broke my rumble pack, or whatever.
My 6th rumble pack in 2 weeks.
Yeah. The rumble packs took batteries.
Yeah. AAAs. I think they were AAAs, right?
Yeah.
And there was like 3 of them.
Was there 3?
Maybe I could tell you. No, that's a memory pack. I don't know. I think it was 3.
In a box somewhere.
A lot of people probably know this, but all those like Russian and insurgent kind of bad guys were mostly rendered employees from Rare. Like all those dudes that'll rush you and whatnot and throw grenades and blow you up. Yeah. So they took the pictures and screen caps of the employees and skinned them onto the characters.
That's awesome.
Those N64 characters always looked weird because it's like you take a 2D picture and you like try to stretch it over a 3D model.
Yeah.
And it always made their heads like what? Like the hair never looked right because it's like they're trying to make a 2D picture 3-dimensional. It was just kind of bizarre.
Do you remember the games that would allow you to take a picture of yourself and map it to a video game character? That always worked out perfectly.
It's like that's flawless. Me. That doesn't look anything like me.
That doesn't even look like a person.
Yeah.
It looks like a duck.
Did you go visit the secret island on the dam level?
I don't think I did. No.
Apparently, if you can, there was an island that was created that was originally supposed to be accessible by boat, but they took the boat out. So you can still go to the island if you like clip God mode, like fly there, because there's a bunch of secrets and stuff, cheat codes and whatnot. So you could just kind of fly over there. It looks like, the Rock or what's that prison called?
Alcatraz.
It's kind of like that vibe.
Huh.
But I can't remember. Was the aiming wasn't inverted, correct?
It's so confusing to me, Jay, that I can't even tell you what it is. You can change it in multiple ways so that you're basically, let me get my controller. you're using, this isn't a standard N64 controller, but you get the idea. You're using the C buttons as your second stick, but it's digital, so there's no finesse to it. So you can use basically a combination of like strafing with the left stick, but moving up and down as well, or moving forward and turning. It's all mixed up, and there's no perfect like modern way to do it. Mm-hmm. I think the best way to do it is to use two N64 controllers. I think you use a stick under each thumb with two controllers, and I think there is a way to get that to feel pretty modern, but I didn't try it.
I can't remember if that was one of the games that I played in high school with buddies that they would turn on inverted, and then I would have to turn it off because I can't stand inversion. Are you an inverted?
You have an aversion to inversion?
No, like. Are you an inverted shooter gamer?
I am, and to me, it makes logical sense to push. It's like putting your finger on the top of somebody's head. If you push forward, it looks down. If you pull back, it looks up. I think I got it from like Flight Stick. Yeah. You know,
I get that logic, but it just never clicks with me. Whenever I go inverted, I'm like, oh god, okay. Yeah.
But I use a mouse like the regular, like not inverted. Like if I push. If I push forward on a mouse, I look up. Wait a minute. I don't even know. Like this gets confusing.
Are you a screen watcher, Briar?
What's that mean?
When you're playing multiplayer, do you look at the other sections of the multiplayer screen?
Anything to win.
That was my buddy. So both of them were screen watchers, and I was adamantly against it. Like I was the guy who wanted to have like the cardboard is section providers so you could only see your section. I was like, stop screen looking, because they knew where I was. I was like, you're cheating. They're like, it's not cheating, you're right there. I'm like, I'm not right there. You know, like that was a huge argument for my buddies and I. Like, so I ended up losing a lot.
I was running around as Odd Job looking at your screen.
Jesus, dude. You're like pure evil. Good Lord.
Anything. I would do anything to win.
I remember using proximity mines a lot and just knowing where people would be, and just like, boom, dead. They're like, you motherfucker. Like, I'm not even in the same room as you.
I had one friend, my friend Jay, and we would just play with the golden gun. Yeah, there you go. We would just play with the golden gun, which is a one-shot, one-kill pistol, right? But you have to reload it after every shot. And we would just be like sneaking around trying to get that one shot. It was basically whoever saw it was like almost like a game of tag more than it was like a shooter, because if you shot somebody once, you know, he was dead. But then they got the golden gun.
Yeah.
I know. It was a lot of fun. We used to play a ton of this game. It was without a doubt the most I ever played my Nintendo 64. And probably the only reason I don't regret buying a Nintendo 64.
Well, you were older when N64 came out. You had a bunch of the other systems. So you like, I didn't. Like N64 was all I had. So, you know, Mario and Goldeneye and Mario Kart. And
don't blame me for your underprivileged childhood.
Wow. But as soon as Xbox came out and Halo came out, it was game over for that. So.
Oh yeah, Halo was next level. I don't like, as a Goldeneye fan, like there was a direct lineage to Halo, even though there was none of the same people who made it. But there was like a lineage in my gaming path that led me directly toward Halo. There was Goldeneye, Perfect Dark, Halo. You know?
Yeah. I never played Perfect Dark actually.
That one's also hard to go back to. Although they did make a Perfect Dark for the Xbox.
360.
Yeah, the 360. That I remember being okay. It was a launch game for the 360, I think.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was fun. It was weird. It had arrows like a driving game to tell you where to go. Yeah.
Like in the campaign?
Yeah. So you didn't get lost.
Was that just easy mode, Briar?
Maybe. I'm not above easy mode. I will click on easy mode all day. Yeah, there's a new Perfect Dark coming out, actually. Is that made by Rare? Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was.
Interesting.
The arrows remind me that my son just started gaming like within the last 2 weeks. Like just got interested. He came home from daycare one day or from preschool and he's like, I want to play the Mario game.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I
Nice.
set him up in Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey, you put him straight to the new stuff, huh?
Well, with the assist mode.
Okay.
So I've tried to play some of the retro games with him, like the original Mario. I was like, I'm gonna play Super Mario Brothers with him, and dead.
Yeah.
That Goomba would just come, and I'm like, jump, and he's like, dead. Like, well, and then he's like, I'm done. So he's just not ready for that level of difficulty yet, I don't think. And so the assist mode in Odyssey is very friendly for new gamers. It literally has an arrow where you need to go.
So he's still controlling Mario.
Yes.
And he can play it by himself without help.
Yeah, all of what he's doing with the controller is the same. But the things that it does, it has the arrows on the ground for where to go. And if you fall off a ledge or something, you don't necessarily die. It just pulls you back up. And then if you stand still, all of your life comes back.
Oh, interesting.
So it's very forgiving with new players and stuff. But he gets frustrated. He definitely gets frustrated. He's like, Dad, I need help. Come help me. And he like gives me the controller. He's like, I want to go over there. So then I have to like get him to whatever lane of thing, and then I hand it back to him.
You know what's a good one is Mario Galaxy, because you can play as just the guy who grabs the stars, but I'll see all the spectacular, like all the spectacle of Mario, and it's good. Like it's a good bonding moment because you're both playing together, like physically,
right?
Like cooperating on the screen. Galaxy is a good one for that.
Is it like that on the Switch version too?
Yeah, I believe so. I think you just use one of the Joy-Cons to control the wand.
I got him his own controller, so that would work.
Oh, was it a Skyward Sword controller?
No, it's like this little kid controller. It looks like a cat face.
Oh, really?
So I was like, if he's gonna destroy it, at least it's its own controller.
Does it have motion controls?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's vibration and motion and all that stuff. It was like $30 or $40.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm always looking for new Switch controllers because Joy-Cons are just too small, right? I got big hands. It's just not going to work. So I'm always looking for new Joy-Cons.
No, I have to. It's like a pro controller.
Okay. Do you remember when Nerf used to make
Yep.
like accessories for like cases for the 3DS and stuff?
Yeah, I do. His Amazon tablet is covered in that stuff.
Oh, really? Nerf?
Yeah, basically.
You know, Nerf doesn't make like footballs and shit anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I was on their website a couple of weeks ago, and like they really kind of focused in on the guns.
Oh,
those Nerf gun things. I can't remember what they're called, but
right, yeah, and they're
really
cheap actually.
Yeah.
You can get those Nerf guns for like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
But the darts is where they get you.
Ah, yes, because you are definitely going to lose those.
So here's, I'm sending you in Discord the picture of this specific one that.
Oh, I can't look at Discord, otherwise I'll fuck up the stream.
Oh, Twitter DM.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the specific one that I bought for him, but it says unavailable. But they have other ones that look almost exactly like it.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
So it's got ears like a cat.
Yeah. But those are the trigger buttons.
Yeah, that's adorable. Made by Letton, Letton, kids Switch controller on Amazon. Currently unavailable.
Apparently there's a bunch of like this is because there's different controllers that are made by different company.
Oh, it's Chinese.
Looks exactly the same.
We got like 7 companies that all make the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it works fine. There's a little bit of input delay, but he doesn't care.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's nice. You got any pickups you want to show this week?
I actually didn't buy anything from eBay this week, but I did get something in the mail.
What?
I know. I've been like taking a break. It's been a weird couple of weeks for me anyways, but I mean, we talked about getting the Pokemon cards from McDonald's.
Yes.
But
yeah, that's a pickup.
what I got
I would qualify that as a pickup.
Yeah. But what I got back in the mail that I'm most excited about, and again, I'm not big into Pokemon cards, but I like gambling. So I ordered a bunch of Champions Path boxes back in the day and unboxed them. And I had gotten one of the shiny Charizards out of it. And I sent it into PSA. And I got it back like a week ago. And it's a PSA 10.
Like 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Dang. What's that mean?
I pulled this card out of a pack. I sent it in. All of that stuff. So I don't think I could ever sell it because the story is just so awesome. And so it'll go on my eventual Pokemon shelf where I put all my Game Boy games and all that stuff on one of these shelves at some point. I'll just put that on there. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I didn't pick up anything either, Jay.
You got Goldeneye.
Oh, I got Goldeneye, yeah. But I already talked about that. I you know what I got is I did get in the mail a delivery from Limited Run of Metal Slug Anthology for the PlayStation 4. So I was like, oh, sweet. I slid it into my PlayStation 4, and it's just a PlayStation 2 game emulated. I was like, wait, what? I was a little disappointed, honestly.
How did you just like click buy before?
Yeah, maybe. I guess so. I mean, apparently.
Wow.
I mean, it is a PlayStation 4 game, but like when you put it into the PlayStation 4, like it starts up a PlayStation 2 emulator, and it's
weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. So you're like emulating like multiple times, right? Because the PlayStation 2 is emulating the Neo Geo, and the PlayStation 4 is emulating the PlayStation 2, and I'm playing on PlayStation 5. That was weird.
That's really weird. I was gonna touch on the fact because I sometimes touch on like box art stuff. For Goldeneye, there's the original version and then there's the player's choice version.
Yeah.
Obviously, it sold however million copies. So from a collector perspective, it's always more desirable to have the OG like label and all that stuff, and it also goes for not much more, maybe a couple of dollars more, but
player's choice doesn't seem as egregious to collectors as like the green box PlayStation game.
Yeah, it's
like
so
the greatest
weird.
hits for PlayStations. It seems like collectors just avoid those at all costs, but the player's choice doesn't seem as egregious.
It's not as bad. I, as a collector, if I can come across games at a good price, I try to collect both. It's weird. Like for Mario Kart and Super Mario 64 and couple of other 64 games, I have both. I have the OG label or the box art and then the players, because it's only 2 versions. It's not like there's 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I can get the first print boxes, I try to get those for sure.
I got real good news. Speaking of collected games, currently, as I'm downloading the entire Dreamcast collection, I'm at the letter K.
Dreamcast with a K?
Dreamcast with a C.
Why are you at the letter K for what?
I'm downloading the entire collection.
Oh, like A, B, C, D, like the whole collection. Got it. Alphabetical. Yeah. I was like, Dreamcast, letter K. I don't compute.
I was playing on my Dreamcast a couple of weeks ago, and I realized that a lot of my games that I had legally obtained had oddnesses to them, especially in the startup screens with like people's signature and stuff in it. So I wanted to get a legit copy, quote unquote,
a legit copy that he's downloading the entire collection. Like, I don't think that's how that works.
Yep, exactly. So is that going to wrap it up? Are we done?
Yeah, we were talking about having somebody on the show soon.
Oh, right. We're talking to Bless is going to be on the show at some point. We're going to try and get him on for next week, so we didn't want to announce our game of the week for the next episode until we talk to him, and he'll probably choose for us. So we'll announce that. If he's not on for the next episode, we'll have him on shortly. But we're really excited. Bless is one of my favorite people, and I know Jay hates him, but, you know.
Wow. No, he's one of my favorite people as well. Super down to earth and kind.
Yeah, he's a really great guy. So that'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be our second guest ever.
Yep. Keep your eyes on Twitter for those announcements at the RetroSlot on Twitter.
That's right. And if you guys have suggestions or any games that you'd really like to see us address, let us know on Twitter at what is our Twitter at? It's at the
RetroSlot.
At the RetroSlot. RetroSlot being one word. Well, everything in Twitter being one word.
Ours has spaces in it, yeah. Percentage 20. Not very many people are going to get that joke. It's fine.
Jay, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at JSniperton. I stream in the middle of the night, typically Destiny. I'm excited about Outriders demo coming out this Friday.
That's in like 2 days.
So we'll be checking that out. And should be playing more different games and retro games on stream soon. And how about you, Briar?
You can find I'll have a new video going up on YouTube about the 8-bit arcade stick. This video is going to be like 35-40 minutes long. Just FYI. We're going to be modifying an arcade stick, but we're also just going to be hanging out, shooting the shit a little bit.
Zero editing.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of editing, trust me. Like, more editing than I really want to be doing. That's why it's not out already. I watched the video after I rendered it, and I'm like, I need to zoom in on a couple of parts that were hard to see a little bit. But like there's certain parts where you're just kind of like you're screwing screws and chatting about stuff, you know? I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun video, so look forward to that tomorrow. We have DCP's got a new episode of DCP Proper coming out on Thursday. We're also getting together to play. It's the game about the Vikings, but it's not Valhalla. Damn it. I forgot the name of it. Valheim. Yeah, we're playing that tomorrow evening. So look for us on Watts or Tefty's stream. And we'll see you then.
Nice.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week. RetroSlot.
Bye, everybody.
Oh.